Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome officially to the very first episode of Life with Faith and Minahor. This is, a big deal for us. This is our very first video. I want to say congratulations to us and to you as well that is watching. This is our very first step, in our journey together to learning, thriving, succeeding, and prospering as immigrants and aspiring immigrants in the UK. Now, in today's episode, we'll be imagining and dissecting a very terrifying scenario. Imagine if an organization that was set up to help you is actually exploiting you. Imagine if the person that you have trusted to process your work visa or your student visa, that you've put your life, your dreams and your hope, for a better future in the UK is actually a scam artist. As terrifying as this sounds, this is actually the reality. This is the reality of a lot of people. It is actually more common than you think. Now, you might want to say I say the word actually a lot, but it's just to place emphasis on how common these things are and how little tips and guidance that we can take and little ways that we can look at, little things we can do can keep us safe from scams like this. Anybody that knows me knows I'm usually not a huge fan of using recruitment agencies as an immigrant and aspiring immigrants. That is not to say recruitment agencies are bad. There are a lot of them that are legitimate, that are doing what they are supposed to do and are securing jobs and visas for their clients, but at the same time a lot of them are also set up to take advantage of you, to take advantage of your family, and get you to spend a huge amount of money, take advantage of the fact that you as a new immigrant or you as an aspiring immigrant have no knowledge of how things work in the UK. You have no knowledge of labor laws. You have no knowledge of the things that you'd be doing as an immigrant in the UK that would actually be violating the terms of your visa and make settlement for you in the UK down the road very, very difficult or impossible. A recent investigation by the BBC that they put out a few days ago has showed a growing concern, a growing crisis in the migrant community or the immigration community. There are recruitment agencies that are being set up deliberately, to defraud not just the Home Office, to defraud you and the Home Office as well, to take advantage, to prey on your dreams and take advantage of you and get you to spend exorbitant fees for jobs and for visas that are no good or don't exist. The first case that will be, or the case that we'll be looking at now is the case of the nurse who paid £5,000 for a job that did not exist. Sarah was a highly qualified nurse in Pakistan who dreamed of coming to the UK as a skilled worker. She saw an advert online and worked with a recruitment agency who guaranteed her a job in the health and social care sector in the United Kingdom. All Sarah had to do was pay £5,000 and this agency would secure the job for her. When Sarah landed in the UK, her nightmare started. Sarah landed at Heathrow Airport, and when immigration officers looked at Sarah's documents, they discovered that the company that Sarah was supposed to come to work for, that Sarah got a job for, was fake. Now here is Sarah in the UK, fake job, fake, no visa, no rights, no legal right to stay in the UK. Sarah was stranded and no way to go back home because she had spent all the money that she had to come to the UK. Her family had supported her friends, had raised funds to enable her come to pay these fees and book her flight and come to the UK. Now, Sarah's story was very disheartening, or is very disheartening, because Sarah ended up spending 6 months in homeless shelters because she was homeless. She had no job. She had no way to cater for herself. Sarah, relied on charity agencies and the help of charities to be able to feed, and, was just isolated in the UK, not knowing her future. After 6 months, the Home Office ended up deporting Sarah back to Pakistan and leaving her and her family in debt that they went into to fund her dream to the UK to work as a health and social care skilled worker. And that was just the end of Sarah's dream. The next story is the story of the fake student visa that led to deportation. Daniel was a 23-year-old Ghanaian in Accra, Ghana, who had a dream of coming to the UK to live and to study. His parents believed in his vision, and they ended up, selling part of their properties and their land, and their land to be able to fund Daniel's dream. They worked with an immigration consultant in Accra to, facilitate Daniel's visa and help him with his visa processing. When this immigration consultant asked them to pay £8,000, they raised the money, like I said earlier, and made the payment. Now, Daniel's nightmare, began when Daniel landed in the UK, booked his flight, landed in the UK, and landed at Heathrow Airport. Immigration officers looked at the school that Daniel was supposed to be attending, that he supposedly had admission for, and discovered there was a problem. The school did not exist. The school had been created by scammers who intentionally created this school to be able to defraud and prey on immigrants. Daniel, was immediately taken in for questioning, and when the immigration officers went through Daniel's phone, they discovered, they saw messages between him and the agent, and where the agent was promising visa processing in as little as 10 days. 10 days for you to get your visa and come to the UK. This was the promise that the agent made to Daniel. Every attempt to reach this agent at this point, didn't work. The agent that was supposedly the connect for Daniel to go to school and continue his studies in the UK did not pick up. The immigration officers ended up detaining Daniel, putting him in a detention center, confiscating his documents, and after 72 hours, he was deported back to Ghana. And you can imagine how the emotional toll this would have taken on Daniel and his family after all the sacrifices that they made to send their son to the UK to study. And this appears, to be the end of Daniel's dream to study in the UK as a student. This next story is worse than the other two. This story is about an engineer that was trapped in an illegal job scheme. Now, Alex was a 32-year-old engineer from India who wanted to come to work in the UK IT sector. He started working with an agency that promised him a verified job in Birmingham. Alex came to the United Kingdom, when he got to the UK, that was when his nightmare started. Not only did the agency or the company that he had a job for not exist, but Daniel was trapped in an illegal job scheme. He had to be working in a warehouse. He was forced to be working in a warehouse for 16 hours a day, packing goods with less than, being paid less than minimum wage. And a lot of this money was even deducted from Alex as, accommodation fees. This was Daniel's experience for 2 long years before he was able to escape his employers through the help of a charity organization and have now sued that employers. Now, some of these scams that we have talked about have a recurring theme that we'll be looking at next. How do these scams actually work? These scams or these scam artists or these fraudulent recruitment agencies and immigration consultants or advisors put out fake job adverts on social media. They don't use verifiable or verified government links to put these job adverts, so they, you have no way to trace them, or the government has no way to, also trace them. So we see these jobs on social media, and sometimes they are really catchy. They are really, they actually sound too good to be true. As the saying goes, most times something sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. So these jobs will promise zero experience, guaranteed jobs, really, really high salaries, 50,000 pounds, 60,000 pounds in a year. You can move with your family, visa in 2 days or in 2 weeks or in 2 months. You can move next month or you can move this September, and you would look at the advert, you say, oh, I'm very interested. How do I get these jobs? Now, a lot of people end up sending them private messages where they will now set up fake interviews, and at the end of the fake interviews, they would offer them fake contracts, and that is where the next tactic comes in. You'll be, made or asked to make really exorbitant fees under duress. I feel like, that is the two of them work hand in hand. So sometimes you'll be asked to pay 5,000, 10,000, 8,000, 14,000 pounds upfront, and you have to make that payment ASAP. Otherwise, you lose your spot, or you lose your admission, or you lose the job that you have supposedly been secured. Now, after you make that payment, you are supposedly handed a visa, or you are handed that documents before that time. They end up processing everything for you, and all you have to do is book your flight. You book your flight, you come to the UK, the agent is no longer reachable, and it's when you get to the UK you discover, oh, this is a scam. Or when you try to verify this job, you discover this is a scam, and you are devastated. That is the recurring theme in almost all the stories, and also the investigation that was done by the BBC. But let us also look at what you can do. What can you do to keep yourself safe? How do you identify these scams? What are the red flags to look out for? First of all, if a job was not posted on a reputable government website, that is one red flag. Number two, if you're asked to pay upfront fees for visa processing, exorbitant fees for visa processing, that is another red flag. Number three, if this job is a job that you cannot identify. In fact, I feel the first red flag should be if the job sounds too good to be true. If it's too good to be true, it is a giant red flag. In fact, it's a giant red flag in a field of green. That is your number one red flag. When you get that too good to be true offer, it's a red flag. The second red flag is if it is showing up on social media or not on a reputable website, like what we'll talk about next. If you can't find it on the website I will talk about next, that is a second red flag. The third red flag is if you're asked to pay exorbitant fees upfront for visa processing, or to secure your job or secure your visa. That is the next red flag. Now, also, what you have to look at or think about is if the job offer is vague, is full of vague information, vague responsibilities, the information is just not the way it's supposed to be. A lot of the things sometimes that people don't use is Google. If you go to Google and say, can I get what a job offer or a job contract or whatever from this company looks like, most times you would find it. If you look at other jobs of the same category that are online, that are on sites like Indeed, if you go and check and you see sometimes responsibilities the way they are, if you get a job offer like that, your responsibilities should align, even if they are not exactly the same. If these responsibilities on the jobs or the job description is vague, that is a red flag. How do you protect yourself from these scams? Number one, when you get a job offer or any job offer, please verify it on this website that should be on the screen. If the job is not there, please think twice about that job. After that, the next thing that you're going to do is the employer that is giving you the job. You should first of all verify that employer or the company that is supposedly offering you this job has the license to sponsor your visa. How can you verify that information? Go to this website and check. If you cannot find, you'll find every single company in the UK without exception that has license to sponsor anybody in any department, in any field, any industry. You find them on this website. So if you cannot find the employer or the name of the company that's offering you this job on this website, then it's not legit. It's a scam. It is a scam in capital letters with exclamation marks at the end. Please run away. Every company that is registered in the UK are registered, with the government. You would find every single company and their information on these other websites. Now, if you go to this website and you cannot verify the company information, part of what you can also do is, even if the company that you find their name, the job is listed on the government on the first website, the employer is listed on the second website. When you go to the third website and you check and you see, oh, this company is actually registered, please compare that information with the information that you have on the document that you have been given. After you do that, the next thing that you're going to do is to reach out to the school, the university, the company, anybody that offered you your COS for your visa. Reach out to them, Don't reach out to them with the contacts that you were given by the agency. Don't reach out to them with the link to a website that you were given by the agency or the agents that you're working with. Go on Google and search out these schools and search out these companies. When you do that, you see an email address to contact them. Just send it. Just send it. A short email. Hi, my name is this. I recently got offered this. I'm in this country, and I'm looking forward to working with the company, and I just want to verify that I want to verify my contract. Something as simple as that. The company will get back to you and let you know, guy, we cannot wait to have you in the UK. Your contract has already been sent through HR or something, or the company will say, oh, so sorry, there's no job like that. And that is something that can save you a lot of heartache, a lot of headache, a lot of tears, and save you money and keep your family together. Upfront fees, too good to be true offers are a no-no. Only use trusted immigration consultants and agents. This is another website where you can find them. Trusted immigration consultants and immigration advisors are on this website. You can always reach out to any of them for information or further information on anything that you need, and they will be able to help you. If you don't trust that person's information, you can reach out to 3, 4 to verify that the information that you're being given is consistent. You can never verify enough to put yourself on, to make sure that you are safe. I believe in checking and double checking and triple checking every information that needs money to leave your pocket. Before you spend any money, please verify this information and take it up from there. If you follow these simple tips that I have given you, it would save you a lot of heartache and a lot of unnecessary emotional turmoil. Now, if you have been scammed or you know someone that has been scammed, there are a few steps that I would advise you to follow. If you have been scammed, please report this scam. If you're in your home country, report to your country's law enforcement agency. That is the first thing that you're going to do. If you're in the UK, please contact Action Fraud UK and let them know what has happened. This is the website for Action Fraud UK. If you send them a message, please don't be scared. Don't be thinking, oh, how do I get out of this, or am I going to be deported? They are set up to help you. The next thing that you can do if you've been scammed, after letting the government know, the law enforcement agencies know, the next thing that you can do is to seek legal help. If you're already in the UK and you realize that you've been scammed, please seek legal help. Contact agencies like Citizens Advice UK or agencies like Migrants Help UK to help you on these websites that I would also put on the screen. Now, a lot of this information I'll put in the description box of this video. You can go and look at it and take what you need and verify your information, verify the story, and just get the help that you need. After that, like I said, if you've been scammed, please don't make any further payments. Don't be bullied, don't be scared into making more payments to fix any issue or fix any mistakes. Don't make any other payments. And if you're in the UK already and you realize, oh, I've been scammed, I've gotten to the UK, I've gotten to the company that is supposed to have employed me, and this company does not exist, or this company does not know who you are, please find your country's embassy and go and seek for help. Every embassy in every country has an embassy in the United Kingdom. Find where your company embassy is and go to them and ask for help. Now, the most important thing, or one of the most important things that you can do for others, the other steps that we listed are things that you can do for yourself, and hope that you'll be able to find some solution, some resolution to, your situation. The next thing you can do is to help others by sharing your story. If you don't want to, share your story on social media, it's not really going to do a lot. Sharing your story on social media is not going to go far. Part of the reasons why we have the documentary, or we have the expose that was put out by BBC just a few days ago, was because some people spoke up about their story, and now we can learn from it. We can see what they are going through or what they've gone through and how they were defrauded. We can shine more light on these subjects, on this area, to save a lot more people. You can contact reputable news agencies like the BBC, like any news agency that you know and you trust. Contact them and share your story. Let them know what's happening to you, and they will be able to shine light. More attention. The more attention is shone on this particular issue, the more there will be more solutions proffered, and the more some more victims will speak out and get help, and also the more a lot of people will be saved from making the same mistakes and falling victims to these scammers. I hope today's video has been informational for you. Whatever comments you have, if you've been scammed or you know someone that's been scammed, or you just have tips and guides that maybe were not mentioned in this video, or questions that you want to ask, please leave a comment under this video and we will try to respond to every single person. Now, next week is an exciting week for us, because having dealt with this part, I wanted to do next week, we would go proper into how to secure your visas. Next week, we'll be talking about how to secure your global talent visa. That's one of the visas that gives you the opportunity to work for anybody you want. You don't need any company to sponsor your visa. You're not tied down to a particular company that employed you. How to secure a global talent visa is the next week's topic, and how to secure a student visa. These two things, we might also talk about how to secure a skilled worker visa, or we might talk about it with another expert. Next week we'll be interviewing someone who has walked through the UK immigration system, has been in the United Kingdom for 8 years, and has been able to transition through different visas at different points. He'll be sharing tips with us on what to do, how to secure the documents you need at the different stages of your application, and how to succeed. After watching this video, please turn on post notifications so you know when we post new videos, and you'll be able to be one of the first to watch our videos. Thank you very much. Thank you once again, and have a good week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and bye bye. Hope to see you again next week.